Mr. C.
You're beautiful, Mr. L. Mr. LC. Greetings, I'm Rob Chapman.
And I'm the Captain.
We're still slightly drunk and hungover from... That's my excuse.
Well, you know, I'm feeling better now. I think the second wind has kicked in.
I think I've worked out that I was drunk and now I've got a hangover.
I see.
Yes.
Well, there you go. Hair of the dog. That's what you need.
Hair of the dog that bit you, and
Or,
these are going to bite you.
Alternatively, yes, some really good new amplifiers from Blackstar to cheer us up. HT1, HT5, and coming in another video soon, the new HT20 are new for 2019. These, for me personally, have always been the standout products in the Blackstar range.
I totally agree. I owned two of them.
Yeah, I own a HT1, which I use at home. I know you've had HT5s. In fact, you've had HT5s and HT1s, haven't you? I remember
head
old
and combo
Dorje albums being done using HT5s.
Head, yeah.
They are great, great amplifiers. And as I said, you know, Blackstar make good amps all across the range, but for me, the real standout ones where you know, they make something that the competition don't really do are the 1 and the 5. Anyway, they've had a spec upgrade and a sort of a facelift for 2019. And we have here today in this video the new little HT1 reverb combo, which looks cool. That is sitting on top of, but not plugged into, a new vertical 2x12 cab from Blackstar, which we'll talk about, we'll use in the second video where we do the HT20. HT1R head going into a 112 cabinet, and I've got here the HT5 with reverb, and on the floor down here, the head version of that. And I've got this so that I can show you easily all the stuff on the back panel, which I'll do in a bit. Do you want to take them through your HT1?
You know what, you said facelift, and I think that's almost the right term, but what that would kind of give across the sentiment of is that it's just sort of the look and some peripheral outside things, but they seem to have been reignited and, you know, re-burnt, created, fabricated. They've been done from the ground up almost a little bit inside. Some glass changes. You are. Look, I'm trying my hardest, Lee. It was 5 gin and tonics, 6 additional shots.
I know.
And I was
tequila, sambuca.
And in many respects, I was the last man standing because you went home.
I went home. I couldn't handle it anymore.
They did other things.
Pete did things that we can't talk about.
Pete was fantastic all the way through.
He was totally sober.
It was almost as if he'd never drunk a thing.
What was that Korean wine? What was that wine that we had?
Soju.
In there? What's it called? Excuse me.
Soju.
Yeah, soju too. And
shall I get back on?
Yes.
Stay on target. HT1. It's really, really good. We plugged it in, and the first thing we went was, oh, it's really nice.
Yeah,
it just sounds great. Obviously, we're using a really cheap throwaway
soju guitar
Les Paul, so you know you'd be forgiven for that. Reverb EQ. It's the classic ISF infinite shape feature. Is that what it stands for?
That's right.
It is. Wow, I knew a thing. Lee's face.
I know.
He was like,
I just said, this never happens. You should be hungover more often.
Volume and gain, and then it's got 2 different voices. That you can foot switch with this really handy little foot switch.
And that's super because you couldn't foot switch any of the HT1s on the old range.
No.
And now you can.
So let me just give you some nice, I'm going to say cleanish tones because it is 1 watt and it's valve.
Yes.
So it's not got a lot of headroom. Sounds really good. And if I step on the gain, by the way, everything's pretty much centralized if you can't quite... Change the voice. Well, I'll be damned, it's an amazing sounding amplifier.
Pop into the little 112 combo. 112, sorry, the 1 watt combo.
Thought you'd never ask.
Now, the 1 watt combo is the one that I've got, albeit the original version. And it's deceptive, really, because I sometimes sort of think when you compare it to a bigger amplifier, it's obviously sounds like it's got a smaller speaker in it. But trust me, I use this at home, super low volume, and when there's nothing else in the room to sort of compare it to, and it's low volume, it sounds great.
Sounds good.
It really does. I really like that. The 1 watt combo does have a speaker output option as well. So if you wanted to use the 1 watt combo and perhaps chop and change between whether you ran it through its internal speaker or an external one, you could do that.
I've just cleaned it up so that you can hear dem clean tone with this really, really high output Les Paul.
I am a fan of these. You've got on each of the 1 watt ones, you've got a headphone output that doubles up as an emulated speaker output as well. That's on the little mini jack on the front.
Can you hold my head, Lee? Thanks.
And you have got an auxiliary input as well. So if you wanted to run a MP3 player or something in there, you could. I don't think there's anything on the back other than where to attach the speaker outputs. Oh, I lied. It's got USB. I'm such a dinosaur, I wouldn't even know what to do with that, but I'm reliably informed that it's a 2-track stereo direct digital output.
I thought it might be fun
USB
to just gun a bit more of the gain, because it was about halfway up, so just for those people that are going to want to rock out or whatever, here is how it sounds with a lot more... It does all the things you need it to do.
Mental. No effects loop on the 1 watt versions. I think we've pretty much summed up. Oh, I know what I meant to tell you. I quite like, there's a very cool feature on both the cabinets actually, and that's that you can, there's a part of the back panel that can be, that it's stuck on by Velcro, and it can be easily removed using this handle on the side of it. So you can convert either of the cabs into a closed back or an open back cabinet.
Now, you said easily removed. We should just say it really is stuck on there because it's a proper seal. So you got to like pull it with all of your might.
Well, yes. Look at the guns on Chapman. That's because he's been standing there literally pulling this Velcro thing on and off for the last 2 weeks.
Putting it off for weeks. And this is currently open because we liked the sound in the room. You wouldn't
I'm
hear
not
it
sure
through the
that
mic,
you probably wouldn't hear a dramatic difference on the microphones whether we used open or closed back, but in a room you absolutely do.
Yeah.
I think that's everything we need to tell them about the 1 watt, isn't it, Mr.
Well,
C?
how much does the 1 watt cost, Mr. C?
The 1 watt, look at this high-tech piece of cardboard here that I've got the prices written on, is $279 in its 8-inch loaded 1 watt combo version.
Or what's the glass?
$259 for the head, and the cab that we're running it into is 219 and has a 12-inch Blackbird, which is like a Blackstar design.
What are the tubes
speaker.
or valves inside the one? What?
Well, before we jump onto the 5, I'll do the tube thing because they are, as far as I'm aware, pretty unique certainly in terms of guitar amplifiers in the way they do the power amp section. Preamp section is relatively conventional. There is a tube in the preamp, a ECC 83 style tube in the preamp, and as in a lot of Blackstar products, some of the gain is from a transistor circuit, like a distortion pedal type circuit, but built into it, and some of it is from the tube. The power section on these, though, uses a push-pull technology, so like standard Class AB technology in any valve amplifier, but where you'd have 2 valves to do the push and the pull. They use specifically chosen valves, dual triode valves, where you can actually do that push-pull thing within one valve.
Right.
So it's not single, even though it's only got one power amp valve, it's not running like a Class A single-ended. It is still Class AB, but with all the elements that you need to do push-pull within one valve. So it's an ECC 82 in here, which will produce 1 watt in its push-pull usage, or and one that I've not so familiar with, but I think it must be the same one that was in the old HT5, a 12BH7, which looks like a slightly longer version of a 12AX7.
Well, Captain, you really know your stuff.
Well, it's as uncommon as perhaps it is within guitar amplifiers. It's relatively ancient technology in old audio equipment. Like
sometimes old things sound better.
Yeah, that's how they used to get like the volume to work on your old TV set, back in the day. I don't think even we're not old enough to know what valve TVs would have been like. Definitely we didn't have a valve TV. Maybe my grandparents.
I don't know whether my old black and white one my parents gave me to use in my bedroom when I was like 12 might have been. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, so look, should we move on to the HT5?
I want to hear it.
Okay, so
with that cheap telly.
We've got a few more knobs and buttons on here, but fundamentally it's the same idea of a clean channel and a dirty channel, each with 2 voices, and the foot switch would do the same thing, but I haven't got the foot switch plugged in, so I'm going to do it manually. I've got the clean channel just has a tone control. The dirty channel has a 3-band EQ and ISF, and the reverb's built in. And there's also a load of stuff on the back panel, including the emulated output, which we'll demonstrate as well. But for now, you're just hearing the mic'd up cabinet. Here we go. Turn my delay pedal off. It's great. Very, very clean, sparkly, fendery. It kind of like when you sort of go, oh, that's a good clean sound. That's what it's like. Voice 2.
It sounds a lot more compressed.
Yeah. So moving over to the gain channel. And again, so now we're on voice 1 with the gain about 1 o'clock, something like that. I'll even drop that gain a bit. Let's see if it does something a bit more.
That's
more
nice.
Open. Yeah,
that's really good.
Great. I'm not using any pedals. I've got loads of pedals at my feet, but I'm not using any of them. If I drive it a bit harder, but we still stay on voice 1. It's great. Voice 2. Obviously, for those Kirk Hammett Telecaster riffs, Sorry. So that's the...
Do you want to Les Paul?
Yeah,
on,
why
mate.
not? Just let's drive it a bit harder. That's such a good guitar, that red Telecaster.
Rabia wants to buy this one.
I know. If that's not in stock by the time this video goes live...
I might buy it before he does.
I can tell you who's bought it.
I think, you know what I think that needs is just a little bit, volume.
More volume. More volume. Sorry, Rabia. Here we go.
That's great.
So good, man. It's really weird, you know, it's like, say what you like about the Blackstar range, and I know they take a bit of criticism on some of the stuff, but the HT5 is wicked.
Yeah.
Let's show you what's on the back of it. So, close up, please. This camera? Awesome. Okay, so on the back, foot switch option, effects loop with a +4 to -10 dB level adjustment, line in for your MP3, cabinet emulation, either on a jack output or a balanced DI output, which is an upgrade from the old one, didn't have the DI, a 112 or a 412 emulation, speaker outputs here, USB over here. They're really, it feels like the handles feel way better as well.
Yeah, I said that when they first turned up.
Super upgrade. Although I'm reliably informed, for all you non-meat eaters out there, it is pleather, so it is completely acceptable. Let's have a listen to the... Can we do the speaker emulated output, B?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, as you may.
So here's the clean sound. This isn't via the USB, this is via the XLR. Let's turn that down a bit. I believe we're on the 412 version. Let's go Ganache.
It's awesome.
They've absolutely nailed this. One of the other features, which is actually on the front rather than on the back, which is why I missed it when I was going through the HT5 head there, which is new again for HT, is power reduction. It's only on the 5, it's not on the 1. I assume it's probably on the 20 as well, but we'll get to that in the next video. But I can run this in its 5-watt mode, which is, let's get a bit of gain again and try and give you like the relative difference here. 5-watt mode. Or half-watt mode.
Turn that really up. Crank it in half watt.
Where's volume? This one.
Yeah, this is exciting. And it's really harmonically rich because you're just ramming that.
Might have to.
Place.
Yes, it's great. I really like it. It's not. It's nice to do something where the product's relatively affordable, and go. Yeah, this is blooming good.
Can I try this telly through my 112? It's really, really good. It's really good.
And we literally haven't used any pedals in this entire video, which is unusual for us, because normally if we'll use the pedals to sort of enhance something if we're sort of.
But there's no need to enhance anything when you've got all this ridiculous gain on tap.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, I should tell you how much these are. So the 5 is $489 in the combo, which comes with a 12-inch Blackbird speaker, $449 in the head, which is the one I had down here, and of course you can use it with either of the cabs that we just talked about. I think the only thing probably to say is it does feel like they've had a slightly sort of hefty price rise on the old ones, but I wonder if some of that is just because for the last 6 months or so, there's been a lot of discounting on the old ones, I guess, to sort of just move them through to make way for these. So,
well, they've also had a lot of internal redesigning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I suppose.
I've got a question for you.
Yes, what is that?
Do you prefer them to the original series?
Well, ironically, and I keep meaning to... I know I'm not the only one to say this, but I actually, in my head... I actually remember preferring the very original HT5R, which had the 10-inch speaker in it, to the one that's just been discontinued.
Right.
Because I think they made the move from the 10-inch speaker to the 12-inch speaker without really revoicing the amplifier and just went, oh, everyone will want it more because 12-inch is always better than 10.
Imagine that.
And I don't necessarily know that it did it a huge favour. However, clearly, this has absolutely been voiced to be used with that size cabinet and that size speaker.
Well, it's that speaker as well.
Yeah, so I am definitely saying I like all the new HT stuff more than the old HT.
I think this...
But then I would say that, wouldn't I? But whatever.
I think this HT5 is one of the best amps they currently make.
Yeah, and if you've got £500 to spend on an amplifier... And you are looking at what are you going to get in terms of little combos? You know, like little Vox AC10 or a
Boss Next Tone.
Well, if we get into the whole kind of, if you want to go solid state or modelling versus valves, you're always going to be in that sort of like you're going to have a big price difference. But in terms of like for like, if you just went other valve amps, yeah, you are talking about like Fender Blues Junior, Vox AC10.
Yeah.
What even else is there that's small and valvey? Little Marshall Origin 5 or whatever like that. That is the one that I would recommend.
That is the one. You heard it here from Leanne
just
himself.
saying.
I have been Rob Chapman.
And I have been the captain. Do it.
Yeah!